Welcome to this analysis video for the poem Mother Any Distance by Simon Armitage. Let's begin with a reading. Mother Any Distance. Mother, any distance greater than a single span requires a second pair of hands. You come to help me measure windows, pelmets, doors, the acres of the walls, the prairies of the floors. You at the zero end, me with the spool of tape, recording length, reporting meters, centimeters back to base, then leaving up the stairs, the line still feeding out, unreeling, years between us, anchor, kite. I spacewalk through the empty bedrooms, climb the ladder to the loft, to breaking point where something has to give. 2 floors below, your fingertips still pinch, the last 1/100th of an inch. I reach towards a hatch that opens on an endless sky to fall or fly. So this is another really emotional poem, I would say, emotion-led specifically. Specifically the emotion of separation and underlying themes of independence and growing up. But really it's, I guess, the examination of the changing nature of relationships between parent and child. If we begin then with the title, Mother, Any Distance. The use of mother, there's something a little bit formal, I guess, about this, almost like the distance, of which the poem covers, has already begun. Something has changed. There's a change that's occurred. However, these two words here, any distance, could it be a mother at any distance? As in, no matter how far they separate, they'll always have that? Or could it be more drawing our attention to the distance itself? The fact that there exists a space. If we look at the first line of the poem, we will see a repetition, I guess, or an inclusion of the poem's title. Once again, same ideas. However, we continue, greater than a single span. So this is quite, I guess, short. A single span, a short distance. Even a short distance requires, and we'll move into the second line as it were here, but it's a continuation of the first, using, of course, enjambment. Requires, so there's a sense of dependency and reliance on the mother still, a second pair of hands. Okay, this person still needs some level of help. Now the poem goes on to tell us about this experience of a person moving into their first or a new home. We're told that so there's a direct address to the mother. You come to help me measure windows. So we have lots of elements here of the home. There's a kind of domestic undertone here. Lots of imagery of the home. The acres of walls, however, we see the distance start to grow. Okay, even in the words that are being used here, we see a growing distance. We go from windows to pelmets and doors to acres and then prairies. Acres and prairies, prairie, of course, being a large open field. Okay, so we're already having hints at a distance between these two. Then again, mother's addressed you at the zero end, and we can often take the zero end here to mean the start. Me with the spool of tape recording length, reporting meters, centimeters back to base. This extended metaphor of measurement. Okay, this reflects the distance between child and parent. Okay, that's what it's used for. Then leaving up the stairs, the line still feeling out, unreeling years between us. So here we have a time, a reference to time, a kind of separation in time, the years between us. Obviously, the parent would be older. We have the use of this very, very powerful metaphor. The anchor, of course, being used to hold them down. Okay, the kite used as a metaphor for freedom. But of course, we'll know if you think of a kite, here's a drawing of one. It's held onto by a string. Okay, so the string holds. So is it the fact that this person can't be free? Finally, the I appears, so the speaker enters here. I spacewalk. I love this little phrase here because that childishness remains, possibly because the mother is around them. I spacewalk through the empty bedrooms, climb the ladder to the loft to breaking point. And here we have this intimation. It's implied that we're arriving at a moment of decision, right? Something has to give. 2 floors below, your fingertips still pinch. You know, the mother remains. You know, even though this person is now at the top of their house, the mother remains below. She's almost like a kind of ever-present presence. The last 1/100th of an inch, you know, that mother is holding on very tightly. I reach towards a hatch, towards an endless sky, another visual image that suggests the possibility of freedom. And this is where the decision will be made. Will the speaker fall, so kind of return to this comfort, or fly and be free? Of course, that final line here, if we're thinking about the last, there's a certain ambiguity of outcome. Now, in terms of rhyme here, so we have span and hands, floor, doors and floors, A, B, B. Okay, so we're written here in couplets, and that's important because we're talking about a couple, not a romantic couple, but a parent and child. That's important, okay? That suggests to us that this is a poem that really focuses on a very detailed relationship. In terms of structure, the structure of the poem, well, what we see is a movement of distance. And what I mean in terms of distance is the parent and the child over the course of the poem move further and further away from each other. In fact, even just alone in the house, right? For example, as the person climbs and ascends. So this is a really good poem to write about, specifically if you're focusing on parental relationships and specifically about the way that those relationships between a parent and a child change over time. Thank you for listening.